listening to A Scary State, and this week we're celebrating Christmas. Merry Chrysler. So, Lauren?
Yes, Kenzie?
Let's get Scarly. Get it? Because Chrysler and Scarly, they're both the wrong way to say Christmas and scary.
That's my favorite. Like, what was it? Was that a Vine?
I think so.
It's my favorite.
Yes.
I watch it every year. Jared and I think it's hysterical. Joe does not find it as funny as we do.
Well, after watching it a few times,
I watch it every year, multiple times. Love it.
Speaking of things to watch, I was scrolling on Instagram, and my friends and I are always sending back and forth your zodiac sign was like a blah blah blah.
Oh, yeah.
Or your birthday month, if it, for whatever. So one I saw was your birthday month in the franchise you're only allowed to watch
Oh,
for the rest of your life.
okay.
You will never believe what mine was.
What?
The fucking Purge. I was like, are you kidding me?
Perfect for you.
What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? I'm never going to watch a movie again.
Yeah, you're just going to have to live in
I was
silence.
so mad.
What was March? Do you remember?
March was... I don't know. I could look. I forget what March was.
Oh, yeah, the Purge is
It was some
probably
sort
one
of
the worst.
fantasy something or other.
Okay, I could get behind that
I
one.
think. I remember I knew what it was when I saw it. I just don't
Oh.
remember what it was. It's a well-known one.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know who they know that's born in November, but this is wrong.
Yeah.
And they put the Halloween franchise in December.
Yeah, you would think that would be more October.
Let me look at this
All
shit
right.
real quick.
We need the important information.
This is important.
It is.
Okay, let's see. Okay, January is Lord of the Rings. February is Jurassic Park.
Okay.
March is John Wick.
Oh. I haven't seen those.
Well, now's your time. April is Jaws. May gets Harry Potter.
Ugh.
You at least get 8 movies. June is the Avengers. They're set for life.
Yeah, they're good.
July is Hunger Games.
Oh, they're good because new movies keep coming out.
August is Star Wars. Again, they're set for life. There's so many movies. September is fucking Shrek.
Oh.
The best one.
That's a fun one.
October is Sonic.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
And November, The Purge.
That's so funny. Those don't, it doesn't
December, Halloween.
The Purge doesn't even go along with any of the other movies.
This person said, not doing Halloween for October is sending me. October not being Twilight is criminal. No one's standing up for November that The Purge is a stupid idea.
The Purge is a stupid idea. They probably watched October and they're like, yeah, I'm done with this. They were disappointed. Well, I'm sorry, Mackenzie. I feel your pain.
Do you think if you have friends for other months, you're allowed to watch their birthday movies?
Yeah. Yeah. Only if you're with them.
Okay.
That makes sense. That's how we'll make the rules.
I'll watch John Wick with you for sure.
Thank you. I know you won't watch The Purge, so I won't even offer it.
No, but you can come over and watch it if you want.
Okay.
I'll go somewhere else in my house.
I really love the Purge movies. They're kind of stupid because everyone just wants to kill each other. I'd go to the bank. I'd go steal money.
Purge thing I can watch, and maybe this counts because it's technically Purge related, is the Rick and Morty episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's related.
Yeah. I can watch that one.
In our rules, it will be related.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I was so upset when I saw that.
It is depressing.
There's so many freaking movie franchise out there. Land Before Time.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
The Rugrats movies.
Yeah.
What else is there? All those Barbie princess movies. All the Princess Swan movies. There's 3 or 4 of those.
Yeah.
There's a fuck ton of Aladdins.
Yeah.
Not as well known, but they're there.
There are 2 Mulans.
And there are 2 Little Mermaids.
Yeah.
And not having December be Home Alone.
Right.
They're fired.
In our personal opinion.
But
right.
Yeah, I was sad, but also thought it was funny.
Yeah, I'd be sad too.
So
I wouldn't want Purge. I mean, what was mine again? Oh, John Wick.
John Wick. But even then, I'm like, okay, well.
It's an action movie. So that's okay.
But there's only 3, right?
Yeah, I know. I'd be getting bored.
Right. And Jurassic Park, there's 2. February would be done in 2 seconds. Maybe it's because it's a short
There's a
month.
ton of Jurassic Parks.
Oh, he only had 2 things in there.
Oh, because there's, like, Jurassic Parks. There's the Jurassic
Oh, I forgot about the
Worlds,
ones
the Jurassic
now.
Worlds, the
Yeah.
Jurassic
Yeah,
Universes.
yeah, I forgot about that.
There's a lot of Jurassic things.
But John Wick, there's only 3.
Yeah.
Unless there's spin-off movies I don't know about.
I don't think there are.
I don't think so
He's,
either.
like, a very, like, known thing.
I like the first one mostly because I can't remember the other ones. I might not have seen them, but I like the first one because I, too, would go on a killing rampage if someone killed my puppy.
Yeah, I get that.
So I completely understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, I do too.
It's justified.
Very justified.
So, yeah, that's my only news update. Nothing else has gone on in my life.
Yeah, we've just had a lot of baby things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get nervous every day. And I'll read things and it'll be like, I watched this one video and a girl was like, when you find out that your March baby is actually going to be a December baby or a February baby. And I was like, please no. And so I was reading comments and someone was like, oh yeah, I was told I was going to have the baby at 36 weeks. Oh, 35 weeks, 37 weeks. And I'm like, that's way too close to me.
Someone needs to take away your access to the internet.
And I am so not prepared.
Someone needs to take away your access to the internet.
My algorithms have done this to me.
I'm sure, but that's why your privileges need to be taken away. Because you're going to put yourself into a tizzy.
I know, I really am. My friend, though, she had her baby like at 33 weeks, which was like what I was last week. And she was like, I was as prepared as you are now when we had our baby. And I said, oh my God. And she goes,
Are you ever fully prepared?
no, but like I have nothing. Our nursery's not done.
Yeah, but you have everything.
We have things. My hospital bag's not packed. I don't have a birthing plan.
Wow, I have a birthing plan for you before you have a
You have a
birthing
better
plan for
birthing plan than I
yourself?
do, yes. Well, I mean, mainly my whole thing was like, go to the hospital, don't die, have baby.
I don't see why you would need
But-
anything else.
But then when we went on like our hospital tour, she was like, oh, add this to your birthing plan and add this and add this. And I looked at Joe and I said, oh my God, we have a lot of work to do.
And like really, you just got to make sure it's like a list of things that you know in a panic you might forget about.
Exactly.
And that's all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like I want that epidural.
Yes.
Pretty much it.
Anything else? I'm sure it'll be
Anything
fine.
else, I'll figure it out. I'll have you, Joe, and my mom figure all that out.
Mean mom, because Joe and I will be full on panicking.
Oh my God.
Not to pass out.
No, mom was saying, she's like, I'm going to have someone take care of me because I'm going to be freaking out about you. So then Joe's going to be freaking out, but I'm going to be taking care of Joe and Joe's going to be taking care of you. Mackenzie's going to be the backbone of all of this.
Well, if that many people are genuinely freaking out, then yes, my default setting is, okay, I'm not allowed to freak out because other people are.
Exactly.
So
as long as we have one person doing that,
I got you.
thank you. Then we'll be good.
I thrive in chaos.
And then there's me, who one time I went with my friends. We went out to go eat, and I had parked on the street in like Arlington or Alexandria, and my friend parked in a parking garage. When we get back, the parking garage was closed, and you can only get out with a little key fob. So she goes over to like pay for her ticket, and she comes back. Okay, we had pulled up to the thing to get out where you need a key fob. We don't have one. The things are closed, like the gates. People are lining up behind us. I'm in the back seat. The front seat's empty. Maya, my other friend, is in the other front seat.
Oh, yes, this story.
And then my friend comes back and she's like, it's $1,000 for me to pay for the parking. And I was like, you're not paying $1,000. And so we're freaking out. She runs away to like go figure something out. Their car is behind us. Someone comes and says they'll give us the key. Like they use their key fob. I jump in the front. We zip up the thing. I have to stop. Alex jumps in the car. We keep going. It was wild. The whole time I'm just there.
Okay, well, you know at least ahead of time how you'll be.
Usually I'm good, but this moment just struck me by surprise.
I think you'll be like silently panicking.
Yeah.
I think you'll be silently panicking. I think you will definitely snap at Joe at least 3 times.
Yeah. I've already apologized to him about that. I was like, I know I'm going to snap at you a couple times. I'm sorry. But I'm going to be in a lot of pain, so I think it's justifiable.
And it'll be good for me to lead the pack anyway because I'll need to be distracted and then I won't pass out.
You'll have a task.
Oh, yes, I love a good task.
You love a task.
I love tasks.
Oh, and everyone's going to be so proud of me to hear. I went on an elevator 3 times.
Wow. I think about you every time I get my nails done because in the parking garage, you have to go up 1 floor.
No.
I couldn't tell you where the fucking stairs are.
I'd never get my nails done.
I would drop you off at the front.
Thank you. But if I were going by myself, I would never.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'd
mean, you
find a new
could walk
place.
up and out of the garage, but that's a
That's
pain in
probably
the
what I would
ass.
do. I'd have to.
And, like, really, if you go up the elevator, you just go out the door and then turn, and it's right there,
Mm.
versus if you go out, you gotta walk all the way down, and then you gotta go this
Yeah,
way.
you get your steps. Well, I told my friends yesterday that I went on an elevator, and one girl was like, "Did you really?" And I said, "Yes."
They didn't believe
And
you.
she goes, "Were you forced?" And I was like, "Well, kind of." And she goes, "Okay, that makes sense then." No one believed me. And then they all said they were really proud of me afterwards, though.
You know what? I am proud of you.
Thank you. I am proud too. I was like squeezing Joe's hand and I was just like staring at his shoulder because I was like, I can't look around. I'm going to freak out. It
I know. Tough life you live.
really is. Really is. My heart rate went up to 120.
That's not good for the baby.
I showed Joe. I was like, well, before we get on, my heart rate was 109 because I was thinking about the fact that I had to get
Sure.
on the elevator.
Yeah.
And I showed him, I was like, Joe, I'm so scared. We get up and I looked again and it was about 120. And I was like, this happens.
Remember when I was just sitting next to you as we were watching the movie and my heart rate got up to 120? So you do get it.
I do. I've never said I don't get it. All right. Do you want to tell people how we're doing these state facts?
Yeah. So I have anxiety, for those of you that don't know,
If you've listened to like 2 episodes, you know.
hopefully. Even before I even said that I did, you probably knew anyway.
They could hear it.
And every time we do state facts and I don't fact check precisely, I get a lot of anxiety that someone's going to come in our comments and be mean, and I have a think about being wrong. So I think I have found a way to solve that problem. So, new year, new tradition, moving forward. Instead, it's going to be 2 truths and a lie. Lauren's going to read 2 stories, or I'm sorry, 3 stories. 2 will be truthful historical events, and 1 will not be. And she has to guess which one is not.
Yeah.
And I will already tell you that one of the stories they gave, when I fact checked it, it was already wrong. So these other ones I have fact checked and we're good to go.
All right.
So we're
Well, then
incorporating.
just the way you said it, that makes me think that story number 1 is going to be the wrong one.
Think whatever you want to think.
Okay.
This way, ChatGPT is involved. We can admit it. We can put it there. Not that we've ever kept it a secret, but I think this will ease my anxiety.
Okay. All right. Story 1. In December 1914, during the early months of World War I, soldiers fighting on opposite sides along the Western Front experienced an unexpected pause in the violence. On Christmas Eve, German troops began singing carols. I already think this is a lie. And British soldiers responded. Men cautiously left their trenches, exchanged gifts like cigarettes and food, buried their dead, and in some areas even played informal games of soccer in no man's land. Though brief and unofficial, this truce became one of the most famous moments of shared humanity in wartime history. Okay, I could see the exchanging gifts and the burying the dead and all of that stuff. I do not think German troops began singing carols. Oh, that sounds like a lie.
Okay.
Okay.
Remember, the whole story has to either be truthful or the lie. It's not lies within the stories.
Okay, story 2.
Yeah.
On Christmas Eve 2008, a man dressed in a Santa Claus suit arrived at a family gathering in Covina, California. When relatives opened the door, he immediately opened fire with multiple handguns. He then used a homemade flamethrower to ignite the house, trapping victims inside. 9 people were killed, including children. Due to the intensity of the blaze, firefighters were initially unable to enter the home. The suspect fled the scene and was later found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound at his brother's house, alongside evidence showing the attack had been carefully planned for weeks. The crime shocked the nation and remains one of the most infamous Christmas-related mass murders in U.S. history. I think this is true because I think I remember reading something about it when I was looking for what story to cover.
Okay.
And then story number 3. That's a long one. In the early 1800s, visitors to Rome during the Christmas season were reportedly allowed to view a rare relic displayed only once a year, a small wooden fragment believed to be taken from the original manger used at the Nativity. The relic was kept under glass and brought out on Christmas Eve for private viewings by clergy, visiting dignitaries, and select members of the public attending Midnight Mass. Midnight Mass is a great show you should watch, by the way. According to later accounts, the relic was last documented during the Christmas season of 1824. When preparations were made to display it, the following year, Vatican officials allegedly discovered the
reliquary. The relic is gone.
The reliquary. Yep. Case empty. No public announcement was made. Instead, guards were quietly questioned, inventories reviewed, and correspondence circulated internally to determine whether the fragment had been misplaced, removed for restoration, or stolen outright. Rumors spread along Roman clergy that the relic may have been taken by a visiting noble or foreign diplomat, possibly as a private devotional object. Others speculated that it was removed intentionally after scholars raised doubts about its authenticity, fearing public controversy during one of the church's most sacred celebrations. By the mid-19th century, references to the relic quietly disappeared from visitor guides and ceremonial records, fueling speculation that the Vatican chose discretion over scandal. I'm not too shocked by that one. To this day, some claim the relic was never recovered, while others insist that it still exists, locked away in a private archive. Its public display permanently ended after the mysterious Christmas Eve disappearance. I like that story, so I think it's true.
Okay.
I'm going to still go with story 1. I think that's a lie.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You are so wrong.
Oh.
It is so true.
Oh, that's so nice.
One of my favorite stories from World War I.
That is so sweet.
It is. You're maybe right about the caroling. I didn't dig into that fact-checking part, but I do know that they played soccer. A truce occurred
Wow.
5 months after hostilities had begun. Lulls occurred in fighting as armies ran out of men and munitions, and commanders reconsidered their strategies following the stalemate of the race to the sea and the indecisive result of the first battle of
Yeah.
something.
Oh, that one's beautiful.
So the soldiers crossed trenches to exchange seasonal greetings and talk. In some areas, men from both sides ventured to no man's land, where they played they did. I take it back. There were joint burial ceremonies and prisoner swaps, while several meetings ended in caroling.
Wow.
So, yeah, one of my favorite stories. That's
How
all from
beautiful.
Wikipedia.
Okay, so then it has to be story 3.
Story 3 is the lie.
Wow, that one sounds so fun, though.
It does sound fun.
And it was long, too, and I was like, this has to be true.
Well, that's why so the original second story was about the Golden State Killer, and ChatGPT tried to say that he was arrested like Christmas Eve. He wasn't. He was arrested in April.
Right.
They're like, that's on me. I'm like, I know. And so then I got the Covana, California one. I was like, okay, cool. But the last one, I was like, there's not enough details. She's going to tell right away that this is a fake story. So I had it include believable details. So make it harder to guess.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay, that was
3
fun.
is fictional, at least that we know of.
Right, that we know of.
Maybe AI knows something we don't.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Okay, very nice. I liked it.
See? Fun game.
It was a fun game.
Yeah.
It's a very fun game. And you can play along at home.
You can play along at home. Let us know what you get in the comments. What's spooky to you porn, Lauren?
All right, I'm just going to jump on in.
I think you should jump out.
Okay, well then, thanks for listening. All right, news spread quickly across the Pittsburgh area in December of 1988 when a severed head was found in a suburb only 2 days after Christmas.
This is such an aggressive start.
Then just a few years later, a similar case in the same area occurred. Told you I was just gonna jump right in.
I can see that.
Anthony Michalowski was known as what some described as a drifter, usually going off the radar, sometimes for days at a time. He was a 22-year-old from the north side of Pittsburgh. Anthony was gone for a few days, last having been seen on Christmas Eve of 1988. But knowing how he was, his family thought nothing of his absence. He was unemployed, so he wasn't missed from a job, and he was known to frequent Liberty Avenue, known at the time as being a hub for, quote, prostitution and sex work. Many Liberty Avenue regulars later told investigators that Anthony was working as a, quote, male prostitute, but his family disputes these claims. Walter Engel, who was then married to Anthony's mother, said that Anthony wasn't homosexual and that while he liked to party, he wasn't really the drifter that police made him out to be. Then on December 27th, 1988, a horrible discovery was made. A severed head was found in a bag in a dumpster in and I think it's Versailles, because we're in the same situation again where it's either North Versailles or North Versailles. So we're going to say North Versailles.
Okay.
Thomas Sestek had been sifting through a dumpster behind the Able Home Center and Great Valley Shopping Center looking for cardboard boxes to use as bedding for his 2 German shepherds. As he was moving boxes out of the way, one plastic bag kept sliding, getting in his way. After it rolled back a 3rd time, he decided to open it just enough to see what was annoyingly inside. When he opened the bag, he saw a man's face staring back at him.
See, that's the last thing I would do. Well,
Open the bag.
I wouldn't be in the trash can to begin with. But if I was, I would not open the bag.
I think it's also one of those things that, when you move something out, it keeps rolling back, you get so freaking annoyed, you just have to see what it is.
No.
Oh, I do.
I just would get mad and take it and throw it.
I
might see what it is.
He wanted to see why it was rolling. So at first he thought it was a mannequin, but either way, he quickly got in his car and drove to a nearby drugstore to call the police.
What year was this?
88.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It is said that Sestak swore off searching dumpsters after that.
You know, one of my, I like to call them unlikely fears.
Yeah.
Like, there's these fears that I have that I'm like, they're rational, but, like, the likelihood is really low.
Okay.
Finding a dead body.
Yeah.
And skeletal or guts and all, either way, I would have to be like, have exposure therapy to go outside again.
Joe found one.
That's gross.
He and his cousin were like walking in a neighborhood one day, and some lady runs outside and is just screaming about her husband. And so I might be telling this wrong, but it's like along these premises. So they follow her into like her house to see what she's screaming about. Her husband had hung himself. Yeah. And so Joe, like, and his cousin helped like call the police, get him down, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm.
He touched it?
I can't remember fully, but he definitely saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Biggest, less likely fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggest unlikely fear.
Yeah, like being sucked into the toilet
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a South Park episode about it.
or like something coming up and biting me.
Yeah. I
That
can see
is
that too.
possible.
That is very possible.
But
Probably not likely, yeah. Not probable, but plausible.
it's possible. It's not plausible,
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
I think.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. So after that one discovery, panic gripped the residents all over the region. And from that, more and more calls were coming in from residents reportedly finding body parts. Most
Mm,
turned out to just be parts of deer and other animals as it was hunting season.
okay.
And then that
I
brought
can
people.
tell if it's like a bone or two, but like if it's got, you can't tell a deer leg from a human leg.
I think people were just freaked out. But then it's also like, hello, hunters, why are you not disposing of these things correctly?
Oh, yeah. How dare they? I don't know what the correct way is.
And not just scatter them around the neighborhood.
Were they not in trash cans? They were just in random places.
It was just people were calling. It didn't really go into like where they were calling from.
Ew.
But two of these calls turned out to be something more. On December 29th, a black lab named Molly, owned by John Zeleny, found under the shrubs at the house of Zeleny's neighbors what turned out to be a lung and several of Anthony's teeth. Several more body parts continued to be found in other dumpsters in different Pittsburgh neighborhoods. So dumpsters.
So the lungs and the teeth belong to the head
Mm-hmm.
that the other guy found.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
We know his name.
I'll get to it. Yep.
Okay.
On January 3rd, 1989, around 1:40 a.m., a security guard at the U.S. Steel Edgar Thomas Works found a jawbone in a brown paper bag near a pedestrian entrance on Braddock Avenue. Not many of the body parts were able to be recovered, but enough were able to help identify the body. The next day, a revised computer-enhanced photo of the victim's face was shown on TV. Anthony's aunt was watching the news when she saw the computer-enhanced photo. She immediately called the police to tell them that the picture looked like her nephew. It turned out
okay.
It turned out to be 22-year-old Anthony Patrick Tony Michalowski.
I was confused for a second because I forgot about that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you said they belong to Anthony, I was like, wait, we know who this belongs to? But
Yep.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense now.
Confirmed by dental records.
Yes.
But due to his frequent and lengthy absences, he had never been reported as missing.
Mm.
Though there was no body, a funeral was held for Anthony on January 28th, 1989 at the St. Peter Roman Catholic Church and was attended by over 150 mourners.
Wow.
So finding Anthony's cause of death turned out to be much harder.
Well, yeah.
Only about 15% of his body had been found.
That's crazy.
Yep. So Joshua Perper, the Allegheny County coroner, wasn't able to find the exact cause of death, and because of that, wasn't able to classify the death as a homicide.
Excuse me?
Like, I don't really think he could cut himself into bits.
At the very, very least, it's suspicious.
Yeah. But yeah, it can't be classified as a homicide because you can't find the cause of death.
That doesn't seem right.
Right. They were able to find that Anthony had sedatives in his system, though, enough barbiturates to induce a coma. Meaning that before he was dismembered, he was either drugged or had been given so much that he overdosed.
So either way, someone else had to chop him up,
Mm-hmm.
spread him around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
Give him the drugs that caused him to then be unconscious.
unless they thought he took the drugs himself, which is possible.
It is,
But he still didn't cut himself up.
Right, right. Perper, the coroner, asserted that Anthony was either dead or unconscious when he was beheaded. So at least there's that. The last few days of Anthony's life are still a mystery, though. He was seen in a Lawrenceville bar on December 24th, 1988. Other witnesses claim that he may have been in a tavern in the Great Valley Shopping Center. And though he was known to be a drifter, Anthony rarely strayed from the north side, which makes the part of him that was found in Mon Valley very strange. So Mon Valley is where one of the parts of his body were found,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, he's never gone away from the north side.
Okay.
So someone had to have put his body there.
Do we know how far away they are from each other?
No. Let's look it up.
Okay.
Oh my God, I have to snap you back too. It's such an ugly picture.
Thanks.
No, of me.
Oh, you sent it of you.
Yeah.
And you sent it of me.
Well, I sent it to you, but it's of me.
Beautiful.
Thanks. North side Pittsburgh to Mon Valley. Oh, okay. So they're 57 miles away, or 57 minutes away from each other, about 30
And
miles.
if you don't have a car,
It's gonna take
Yeah.
you quite a while. It
Mhm.
could take you, if you had to walk, 11 hours.
Jesus.
So they're quite far. Authorities immediately began trying to get any information into this, what I would call a murder. Law enforcement and local media worked together to get any leads. They even hosted a live 30-minute call-in show on WTAE to gather tips from viewers. They called it the Headathon.
No.
Uh-huh. Yep.
No.
Yeah, real bad.
No.
Real bad. Retired county homicide detective
Good
Charlie...
intention. Bad name.
Yeah. Charlie Lenz said that they believed the person responsible had to be familiar with North Versailles, and with that, police were hard-pressed on two suspects. One had a history of picking up young men and choking them to unconsciousness, and the other had a violent past and who Anthony supposedly owed money to.
Our stories have a lot of parallels.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. But neither of these leads panned out, so I didn't get the names, and with no new information, eventually, in 1992, the case pretty much went cold. Then 4 years later, on May 7th, no, 4 months later, maybe that's the wrong date. I don't know. Later, on May 4th, 1992, maybe that year's wrong. I don't know. Sanitation workers were compacting trash in Shadyside at Elmer Street and Culloden Way. One of the garbage bags ripped open and a ham bone with meat on it fell out.
Ah!
One of the workers looked at it and asked why someone would have thrown out a perfectly good ham. That was until he saw the hair on it. Out of the bag had fallen human remains to include a thigh.
Did you say ham
Uh-huh.
or hand?
They thought it was a ham bone.
But it was a hand?
No, it was a thigh.
Oh.
So this guy sees it thinking like, someone threw out a perfectly good ham. And then he looks closer at the ham, H-A-M, and saw hair on it. And he goes, that doesn't look like ham anymore. No, it was the thigh.
Oh. Well, it's all gross regardless of what body part they saw.
This was the start of other body parts being discovered in trash bags placed in dumpsters around the city, just like what had happened years prior. Maybe months prior.
Well, wait, the first one happened in 1988.
88. Oh, yeah, then this would be
then it's 4 years
1992.
later.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
My math was correct.
it is.
Thank you.
Never doubt yourself.
Thank you. All of these parts were tested and were identified as those of 30-year-old Pittsburgh resident Michael Hickmott. He, too, had been disemboweled and dismembered.
Ooh.
And just like the other victim, Anthony, Michael had been unemployed, though he had previously worked as a sex worker.
Mm.
This is when police saw a pattern, not just in the method of killings, but in the two targets. These people who were considered to be on the fringes of society who no one would, or who wouldn't be missed.
Yeah, our stories they might as well be the same.
Hopefully they're not.
They're not.
Police immediately started canvassing the area and focused on an apartment building near Elmer Street. Inside the building, they found blood in the basement. This led police to a suspect
Why
who...
did they decide that building?
I'll get to it.
Okay.
This led police to a suspect who described himself as a, quote, neo-Nazi vampire. That would be Robert Wayne Marshall. Marshall, 37, was known to wear his hair in
They
a crew
always have
cut.
3 names.
I was thinking the same thing. If you have 3 first names, you're bad.
Yeah.
2 first names are also pretty bad.
2 first names also don't end up.
And Wayne as a middle name, actually, there are a lot of serial killers with the middle name Wayne.
With the
middle name Wayne. With the middle name Wayne, like John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other ones. I can't think of them off the top of my head. I just know it's a statistic.
Interesting.
So yes, Marshall wore his hair in a crew cut, often wore camouflage, and was said to be an alcoholic.
And this is the guy who's the neo-Nazi vampire.
Mhm.
Got it.
Yep. And when looking into it, law enforcement were able to find many connections between Marshall and Michael. So Michael was the one who was found later.
Okay.
First off, part of Michael's body was found in a dumpster that wasn't too far from Marshall's apartment. And witnesses told police that they had seen the two together the weekend before Michael's remains were discovered. Michael had told his family that he was going to visit Marshall over the weekend. The two were seen in Shadyside, and Michael had made a phone call in the afternoon from Marshall's apartment.
Mm.
And wild little fact, Marshall had a roommate in his apartment, a man who was blind. So someone who he could do all this bad stuff, and his roommate just wouldn't.
It's like Deadpool, but evil.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen the two guys? They're probably on TikTok, but I see them on Facebook. It's oh my God, I can't remember their names right now. He always says his name, but it's like the guy who's married to the blind guy, and he always like pranks the blind guy.
I've seen it
Oh my God,
before.
they're so cute. That just reminded me of it. But they're always like really cute, like little pranks. It's so fun. Okay, back to the bad stuff. Marshall was also just so close to locations. So his apartment was about a block from where the first body parts were found by the sanitation workers. The apartment is also a block in the opposite direction from two other bins where other body parts were later discovered. Marshall had also been seen just a few blocks from the trash bins where a day-long search had been conducted to find more body parts.
Okay.
So they kind of
So he's close by.
triangulated him to check that apartment.
Yes.
Detectives believe that the basement of his apartment building was where Marshall used 4 wood saws to cut Michael's body into 10 parts.
Jeez.
Detectives found blood and indications that someone had tried to mop up the floors. On May 6, 1992, just 2 days after Michael's body had been discovered, authorities issued an arrest warrant for Marshall, but he wasn't in his rented apartment.
Ruh-roh.
And this set him off. He ran, prompting a manhunt. While this was going on, authorities also contacted the FBI to see if there were any unsolved cases that shared similar characteristics, such as the victims being disemboweled and dismembered, with their body parts being scattered throughout cities in different dumpsters.
Was this in Pittsburgh still?
So the 2 cases happened in Pittsburgh,
Okay.
but they reached out to the FBI and said, are there any others
Okay.
anywhere to
Okay.
see if we can maybe link them all to this guy?
Yeah.
And that if there were similar cases, they would all be related back to the same suspect.
Mhm.
Forensic psychologists who had experience with similar cases even put together a profile of their perpetrator. It was likely a white male with a history of mental illness who was within 10 years of Anthony's age. So all check marks for Marshall.
Mhm.
Anthony being the first guy. Quote, the person that did this had a lot of hate, and he vented by doing what he did, Allegheny County Police Inspector Floyd Neveling said. It was almost certainly a male. Women are getting more like men all the time, but it's highly unlikely that it was a woman. They haven't gotten into the really brutal murders yet.
That's not why, but okay.
I know. Marshall was never arrested or even questioned in the deaths of Anthony and Michael, though. Because on May 15th, 1992, just days after he was charged with Michael's murder, he completed suicide in an empty warehouse in the city strip district. He was found inside the Armstrong Cork Factory, now the Cork Factory Lofts, with his wrists slashed.
Oof.
Michael had left a note, though. In it, he proclaimed his unhappiness and confusion, saying that by the time his friend received this letter, he would no longer be in this world. He also had notes on his clothes that told police whom to alert that he was dead. Authorities have even started to consider him a potential serial killer, potentially with additional victims in addition to Michael and most likely Anthony. So they know pretty much for a fact that he killed Michael.
Sure.
Like, he was the last person seen with him.
Yeah.
Michael was in his apartment, all of that.
Yeah.
And they say because this crime was so similar to Anthony's, he was probably also
Likely,
responsible
yeah.
for Anthony's. But again,
No.
no
Nothing
confession.
definitive.
Right.
Yeah.
But because of Marshall's quick ending and authorities never being able to charge or question him, the crimes have never technically been solved, and law enforcement could never definitively say that Marshall was the perpetrator. They had also wanted to question Marshall about at least 3 other unsolved killings in the Pittsburgh area. And so I didn't know where to add this little tidbit. So a little over 2 decades after Anthony was found, around or near 2010, the police department that was looking into Anthony's murder found another crime scene. It appeared to be a grisly hotel murder with body parts spread all throughout the room.
Oh.
After 8 hours, they realized that the body parts were made of latex, corn syrup, and red dye.
That's not nice.
Turns out it was a vacated film set kept intact by the building's owner for novelty's sake.
Okay, well, that's fair.
The movie was New Terminal Hotel, and on IMDb it has 3.2 stars out of 10.
Nice. That's crazy.
But yeah, so kind of short, but it happened Christmas Eve,
Sure, yeah.
around Christmas and December time. Yeah, so the murders of Anthony and Michael, potentially by our neo-Nazi vampire Robert Wayne Marshall.
What's the word when you give something to someone after death?
Postmortem?
No.
What are you trying to say?
Like when you give
Posthumously?
that.
Oh.
Can you do that like for a crime? Like can you?
I don't think so. I think what you can say is like, we're pretty sure it's this person, but we can't technically close it because we didn't get the confession.
Because you can give people like awards and stuff.
Well, yeah, because those things can be proven.
Well, if it can be proven.
I don't think they can prove it though, because like, I mean, with Michael, they're like 99% sure, but they needed that confession. With Anthony, they don't have anything to link him to it. They just have like this other case, exactly same case happened 4 years later. by this guy, so chances are he did it too. But
So, did they close the case or is it still technically open?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it would probably still be technically open, but one of those things where they know they're never gonna close it.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah.
Wowza, that was brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, it just kinda no lead in, just kinda
Just
jumped right into it.
yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Didn't even give us a chance to get comfy.
No. Ugh, yeah, not good.
Not good.
What festive frenzy you getting us into, Kenzie?
Ooh, I
Mm,
like
thank
it. I like
you.
it. Okay, so this story does not take place around Christmas, but it is Christmas themed.
Okay.
Still counts.
Alright.
It is a very complex story about society's perceptions of people and a reminder that we still have a long way to go before we can confidently say that we treat everyone equally. This story does take place in Canada, which has provinces, not states, I
Mhm.
think.
No, I think that's right.
I think that's what they're called. But it is a spooky special, so I'm making it extra special by it not being in the United States.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So, a little bit of background to set the scene of how things were like in Toronto, Canada for the LGBTQIA plus community.
And what year are we in?
You'll
Oh,
see in a second.
okay.
For efficiency, I will be saying LGBT,
Okay.
but it's LGBTQIA plus,
The whole.
the whole.
Gotcha.
So when we talk about the LGBT culture in Toronto between 2010 and 2018, we're really talking about a city in transition, a place where queer life was more visible than ever, but also wrestling with important questions about inclusion, identity, and who gets centered in the community. At the heart of Toronto's LGBT scene was the Church-Wellesley Village, often just called the Village, or like it was, I think Church and Wesley are also like streets
Oh, okay.
in the village, which is also sometimes called the Gay Village.
But it's not a church.
It is not a church.
Okay.
It's the name of a street.
I gotcha.
Yeah, kind of like what's that place in San Francisco? Like in Ashbury Heights or whatever.
Or in DC, DuPont Circle.
No, like it's a street. It's like cross streets.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mine makes more sense than yours.
Yeah.
But you don't know
I
what
thought
I'm
we were
talking-
just talking about like a gay community.
No, I was trying to give reference of like well-known places known across. I'm sure the San Francisco thing did have a lot of, gay community in there because it was like the hippies, but
Right.
it wasn't
And
my
it's
point.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay.
We're all good.
Good.
This neighborhood has long been the symbolic center of queer life, packed with bars, clubs, bookstores, and community organizations. During the early 2010s, the village still felt like the place to be, especially during Pride season. But this era also marked a shift. Queer culture was no longer confined to one neighborhood. LGBT plus communities were increasingly visible across the city, reflecting broader social acceptance and also rising costs that pushed people and spaces outward. Pride was a huge part of Toronto's cultural identity during this time. Pride Toronto hosted one of the largest Pride celebrations in the world, drawing millions of people each year.
Wow.
So I guess they have like specific, like little parades, but they have something called the Trans March, Dyke March, and Pride Parade.
Wow.
Those are the specific titles.
Okay.
But as the decade went on, conversations grew louder around corporate sponsorship, commercialization, and whether Pride was drifting away from its activist roots. The tension came to a head in 2014 when Toronto hosted World Pride 2014. The city became an international destination filled with massive parties, global attention, and a sense that Toronto had arrived as a world leader in LGBT plus visibility. For many, it was a once-in-a-lifetime celebration. For others, it raised questions about whose stories were being highlighted and whose were being left out.
Okay.
Those questions became impossible to ignore in 2016 when Black Lives Matter Toronto halted the Pride Parade. The action forced, which I'll get to later,
Okay.
the action forced a public reckoning around anti-Black racism within queer spaces, police involvement in Pride, and the idea that visibility alone doesn't equal safety or justice. The moment is often seen as a turning point, one that reshaped how many people understood Toronto's LGBT community and its internal divisions. Outside of festivals and protests, everyday queer life depended heavily on community institutions. The 519 played a crucial role, offering social services, support groups, and programming that made the community feel tangible and accessible. Cultural spaces mattered too. Glad Day Bookshop, the world's oldest LGBTQ bookstore, wasn't just a place to buy books. It functioned as a gathering space for readings, performances, drag events, and activism, especially as traditional nightlife spaces began to disappear. And that disappearance was noticeable. Throughout the 2010s, many long-standing queer bars and clubs closed due to rising rents and changing nightlife habits. While queer people were more accepted across Toronto than ever before, there was also a sense of loss, meaning fewer spaces that felt distinctly unapologetically queer. By the time 2018 rolled around, Toronto's LGBT culture was more visible, more mainstream, and more legally protected, but also more self-reflective. Conversations about race, trans rights, policing, and access weren't side issues anymore. They were central to how the community understood itself. Toronto became safer and more welcoming on the surface, while simultaneously confronting the hard truth that progress doesn't reach everyone equally.
Okay.
So, the relationship between Toronto's LGBTQIA+ community, I said that so smooth so far,
You did.
and police during the 2010s was complicated.
I mean,
Shaped by progress, but also deep mistrust. Historically, queer communities in Toronto.
weird communities?
I said queer.
You did not.
Definitely said queer.
It didn't sound like queer.
Okay. Historically, queer communities in Toronto had long and painful memories of police harassment, surveillance, and raids, especially in the early decades before the 2000s.
Right.
By 2010, things looked very different on the surface. Police were marching in pride, same-sex marriage had been legal in Canada for years, and official messaging emphasized inclusion and partnership.
Wow.
Throughout much of this period, the Toronto Police Service actively participated in pride events, often marching in uniform. For some members of the LGBT community, this symbolized how far things had come: visibility, acceptance, and an attempt at reconciliation after decades of harm.
On the surface, that seems really great.
But for many others, especially Black, Indigenous, and other marginalized queer groups, that visibility felt deeply uncomfortable.
Right. See, that's why I said on the surface.
Yeah. Concerns about over-policing, carding practices, and police violence were already prominent in Toronto during the early to mid-2010s. I want to say carding practices might be the same as, what did we used to have here? The stop and search or something like that.
I have no idea.
It was something where, like, I forget what it was, but it was a policy,
That they could just stop anyone?
something like that. Walking around, not like in their cars necessarily. I forget what it was called.
I
But
think yeah.
we had something like that.
Yeah.
Like stopping something.
You're ringing a bell.
Yeah. Those concerns didn't disappear simply because police weren't present at Pride. Instead, they highlighted a growing divide in the LGBT community between those who felt safer with police involvement and those who felt threatened by it.
I mean, I can see both sides.
Absolutely. That tension reached a breaking point in 2016. During the Pride Parade, Black Lives Matter Toronto, so this is what I was referring to before, staged a sit-in that temporarily halted the event.
Okay.
Among their demands was the removal of uniformed police and police floats from Pride. Their argument was simple but powerful. Pride began as a protest against police violence, and for many marginalized queer people, police presence still represented danger rather than safety.
Interesting.
The moment was controversial. Some spectators booed, others cheered. Media coverage exploded. But the action forced a public conversation that could no longer be avoided about whose safety Pride was prioritizing and whose experiences they were dismissing.
You can take this out if you want to. How do you feel about that?
I
Like with the police marching and then not wanting the police to march.
I think they should be involved. I don't think they need to be in the march, because being involved can show that you're trying to make growth and connect the community with police officers. But also at the same time, like, they're right. Like, this is why you had Pride in the first place.
Right.
And so,
Respecting the people who it's about.
right. And keeping them the center focus.
Okay.
I feel like when you put in a police force or something that, a lot of time, the parades that I've seen, it's all queer groups of some kind. You have, lesbian choirs and all that kind of good stuff. And then to just have the police.
Okay, I could definitely see that.
Like, there's other ways that they can show that
Their support and stuff.
their support and making strides to make those connections with the community and not marching.
Okay.
If they're a queer cop, maybe that's a little different.
Right.
But I definitely lean more towards, I get why they shouldn't be in the parade.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. No, that's a really good point.
Yeah. In response, Pride Toronto eventually agreed to bar uniformed police from marching in future parades.
See, I agree with that. Like, I think, again, like what you said, it should be the focus and priority should be on who this is for.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that they want to be involved. I think that's great, but there are probably other ways they can be involved rather than them marching.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels the same as like when corporations would have rainbow stuff for a month
Right.
and then it goes away.
Right.
Like it kind of feels the same.
Yeah. It's like very,
Performative.
that's the word.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. But it's not allowed anymore. So,
Yeah. Went from
oh,
performative to just like discriminating.
yeah. We're not even going to go down that rabbit hole.
The decision marked a significant shift, not just in Toronto, but across North America, as other cities began having similar debates. Despite this, the relationship between LGBTQIA+ communities and police never settled into a simple narrative of good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
There were officers and liaison units working to build trust, while at the same time, ongoing reports of racial profiling and mistreatment continued to erode confidence among many queer and trans people of color. By the end of the decade, one thing was clear: visibility did not equal trust.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto's LGBTQIA+ community had gained unprecedented legal protections and mainstream acceptance, yet many still felt that policing systems had not reckoned fully with past or present harm. Those conversations about trust, policing, and whose safety is prioritized weren't just the theoretical debates happening at pride parades. For many people in Toronto's LGBTQIA+ community, they became painfully real. Because while the city was celebrating progress, rainbow crosswalks, record-breaking pride crowds, and police marching in uniform, a serial killer was operating quietly within the community.
Why does there always have to be a serial killer who ruins things?
Because they tend to do that. Between 2010
For a second, I totally forgot where we were going with this. I was just like, yeah, this is interesting. So when you were like a serial killer, I was like, whoa.
Good. Between 2010 and 2017, men from Toronto's gay village began disappearing. Almost all of them were immigrants, and many were connected to the very neighborhood meant to be a place of safety.
Mm.
And for many years, concerns raised by friends, partners, and community members were minimized. So I'm going to tell you who it is, but like the main part is the investigation,
Okay.
not who they find out who it is.
Okay.
Well, obviously that's important too, but like he's not the center of the story.
Okay.
That killer would eventually be identified as Bruce McArthur, a landscaper who sometimes dressed as Santa Claus for mall photo ops. So
there's your connection.
When you search for him, it's sometimes called like the Santa Claus serial killer or something along those lines.
Okay.
Because he
dressed up Santa.
He looks like Santa.
Okay.
He just has to put a wig on and guard
I
his beard,
see your
and
connection.
He's basically Santa.
I get it.
So,
you passed. Good job.
That's what, that played like, while it wasn't anything to do with why or any of his murders or anything like that, the press held on to that fact.
Oh, of course.
And ran with it.
Of course.
A man who blended into everyday life while targeting vulnerable men in the shadows of Toronto's LGBTQIA+ communities. I decided to say the whole thing because I've been really good at it. I thought I was going to, every time I said it, I thought I was going to mess it up, but I've been like so smooth every time.
You have been.
I might as well just say the whole thing.
Just go for it if you can.
The failures that allowed McArthur to continue killing weren't just individual mistakes. They reflected deeper issues we've already been talking about: whose fears are believed, whose lives are prioritized, and how systematic bias can blind investigations. I'm going to be telling this story in chronological order. However, it is important to note that this is not how the information was discovered.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Meaning it did not happen in chronological order for the police because they did not know about these earlier crimes until a more locally prominent victim had disappeared.
Right.
I also want to say up front, I am only covering the surface level of this case. I watched a documentary, Santa Claus, the Serial Killer. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Which you can find on Amazon Prime, and it's a BBC documentary, and it does a really good job of telling the victims' stories. Mobeen Azar does an amazing job investigating this case and helping connect all the dots.
Okay.
So I'm just giving you the basic information. He does really well at like truly showing an investigation of finding connections between these people and the perpetrator and all that kind of good stuff.
Gotcha.
Okay. When it comes to the names, I have listened to videos and things like that.
Right.
It's still going to come out sounding white as fuck. And I'm so sorry.
But I mean, we did our due diligence. We looked up how to say it. You listened to the podcast.
I even wrote in my notebook the
documentaries.
stopping points on the video in case like I need a reminder, like right now.
Oh, beautiful.
I was like, I do not want to start.
Because I don't think people realize how hard it is to say names that you haven't heard before. And even when you have heard it, it's still hard.
Okay, so they call this man by his nickname. So I'm going to attempt the first name.
Okay.
Skandaraj. Skanda.
That's not, yeah, I think so.
Navaratnam. Skanda for short.
Okay.
So sorry.
The confidence in your voice, just you can hear it. You like come off strong and then your voice just like shuts down.
Because I get stage fright. The actual performance needs to happen. In my head, I've been doing great.
Yeah.
He was 40 years old and was a Tamil refugee from Sri Lanka and had no family when he arrived in Canada in the early 1990s.
What's Tamil mean?
It's the language that they speak.
Okay.
We've had some kids from India who speak that language.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. He was last seen in the early morning of September 6, 2010, leaving a gay bar with an unknown man. He was reported missing by friends a few days later. So it's going to seem like some of these don't have a lot, but that's because I want to give you everything first, and then I'll go back to share how they're connected.
Okay.
Abdul Bazir, or Bazir Fazi, 42, was an immigrant from Afghanistan who was last seen December 28, 2010, after he stopped by the Black Eagle Bar. Bazir was married with 2 children and was said to be working overtime to ensure his daughters got everything they wanted for Christmas.
And he was married to a woman, and he's seen in gay bars.
Yes.
Okay.
He was not out.
Yes. I was just making sure I like have all the pieces.
Yeah. Bazir was reported missing the next day, and his 2002 Nissan Sentra was found abandoned on Moore Avenue. This road is near the Beltline Trail, which is a small ravine that was a popular spot for gay men.
Okay.
Majid Khayan, 58, was last seen on October 18, 2012, near Church-Wellesley in the Village. So those 2 big-known street names.
Right.
Majid was an immigrant from Afghanistan who fled to Canada with his wife and children in the later 1980s. So you maybe can start to see a trend here.
Right.
Majid and his wife divorced in 2002, but he was not fully out to his family. Majid suffered from PTSD from the Soviet-Afghan War and was a heavy drinker.
And I feel like it would be really hard to be out to your family in like some certain cultures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That plays a huge role into this.
Oh, okay.
He was also known to frequent the Black Eagle. Sarush Mahmoodi, 50, was last seen alive on August 15, 2015, near his home in the South Cedarbrae neighborhood. He was reported missing by his wife later that month. Sarush had come to Canada as a refugee from Iran and did not have family in the country until he met his wife. They moved from Barrie to Toronto to be closer to his wife's family. Police and Sharut's family had not connected him to Toronto's gay scene, though before his marriage, he had been in a 4-year relationship with a transgender woman who he met in a bar on Church-Wellesley.
Okay. So far, all 4 immigrants.
Yes.
From Iran/Afghanistan?
And Sri Lanka.
And Sri Lanka.
Same relative location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there are also 2 men who disappeared around this time but were never reported missing. So Dean Lisowick, 43-44, was a resident of Toronto's shelter system and since 2003 occasionally stayed at the Scott Mission.
Does shelter system mean like homeless? Like
yes.
Homeless shelters?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so. It was last recorded that he was there on April 21st, 2016. Dean faced struggles with addiction and worked as a sex worker. He was never reported missing. Kirish Nakumar Anagaratnam, 37, had lost contact with his family at the end of 2015. He was one of the 492 Tamil refugees from Sri Lanka who had arrived in Canada on the MV Sun Sea in August of 2010. Kumar went into hiding when his refugee status was rejected and he was going to be deported. So he started hiding.
Yeah.
He worked as a cleaner and a mover and was never reported missing.
Oh.
So the case that officially put these missing men on the police and community's radar was the disappearance of Andrew Kinsman, 49, on June 26, 2017, a day after Toronto Pride. So a couple of them were kind of on police radar, which we'll get into later, but not necessarily thinking they're connected.
Okay, because that's a lot of people so far. He's like the 7th.
This guy's the 6th.
Oh, okay. I was off by 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no, you're right. 7.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
I listen. I pay attention.
Sorry. So, he was reported missing on the 29th, and a friend said that Andrew was, quote, happy and upbeat. Andrew was a well-known member and activist in the village. At one point, he had also worked as a bartender at the Black Eagle. Starting to see another trend.
Yep.
Friends and family of Andrews put up missing posters and led searches. They would not let police forget about this case, and it is because of this that police made all of their other discoveries.
Okay.
So, this man had a lot of people, not just family, looking for him and being loud about it.
Good.
Versus the other men who, one of them was technically hiding out from police
Right.
to not get deported. Others were not even out to their family.
Right. And so this most recent guy, he was out to his family.
Yes, he was well known in this community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so while part of it is we're going to make sure that this gay man gets his justice, there was that, but it's also he was white.
And the Black Eagle, that bar, is that known as a gay bar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Also within the year of 2017, a transient man, Salim Essen, 44, was reported missing in April, but was last seen in March of that year.
Okay.
Salim was a Turkish national who had first come to Canada to be with a partner that he had met in Turkey. According to the friend, he struggled with addiction, but was getting control of his problem and had completed a certificate course in peer counseling from St. Stephen's Community House just before he disappeared.
A male partner?
I believe so.
Okay.
Between 2010 and 2017, multiple men connected to Toronto's Church-Wellesley went missing. Many were middle-aged, several were immigrants or refugees, and many were men of color. While the disappearances initially appeared unrelated, growing concern within the LGBTQIA+ community eventually led Toronto police to re-examine whether these cases were connected. I found a new talent.
Which is?
LGBTQIA+. I just say it so well.
I'm so proud
I
of
don't
you
trip
for
over
figuring
any
this
of the
out.
letters. And I'm really proud of myself. I can't pronounce anyone's name. I can't pronounce the name of any location.
But you've got this.
But I have this, and I think this is important.
It's going to come in so handy during Pride.
1 month a year. End this story. Okay, so in November 2010, Toronto police launched Project Houston, a task force formed to investigate the disappearances of 3 men last seen in or near the village. Apparently, this was named Houston because of the whole Houston, we have a problem. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. I don't hate it, but I also don't love it.
You're not going to love the name of the next task force that they put together. I don't like it personally.
Okay.
It's not awful, but come on.
Yeah, okay.
Investigators reviewed missing person files, analyzed last known movements, and searched for patterns in geography and social connections. In 2014, Project Houston was closed without charges. Police stated that there was insufficient evidence to confirm a serial offender or criminal link. The disappearances remained unsolved, and this is before Andrew Kinsman. This is before he went missing. So they're trying to figure out whether or not they're even connected.
Okay. Because it was him that is the reason why they found all of these guys were connected?
Yes.
Okay.
Which we'll get to.
Okay.
The disappearances remained unsolved. 2 of the men investigated under Project Houston were later confirmed to be victims of McArthur, making the closure of this task force a major point of controversy. I believe it was the people, the 2 or 3 men from the beginning. In 2010, 2 additional men connected to the village, Andrew Kinsman and Salim Essen, went missing. Their disappearance renewed public concern and prompted Toronto police to launch the second task force.
All right, let's hear the name.
Project Prism.
Because of the rainbow?
That's what I'm assuming. Because they couldn't call it Project Rainbow.
Right.
So they're like, let's do this. Because prisms make rainbows.
They didn't have ChatGPT to help them come up with good names.
No, but I feel like brain power should have told them that this was a bad idea.
Right. Like, we can come up with something better than prism.
Why does it have to have a name?
I don't know. Everything has a name, like Project Blue Book,
I mean,
Project Note Clip. I don't know.
paperclip, but yeah.
Paperclip.
But the task force could have just said Project Village because that's where it's located.
Oh, that would have been a really good one.
Or Project Church, Project Wesley. Literally anything but fucking Prism.
Yeah. I agree with you there.
And it's Prism with an M, by the way, not prison with an M.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure
Oh,
they
I
understand
see.
me too.
Yes.
We're happy they're looking into things, but we got to work on the naming.
Yeah.
Like I said, progress, but not quite there.
Right. Like, we're almost there.
Right. Project Prism combined missing persons and homicide resources and re-examined earlier cases alongside the new disappearances. Investigators analyzed phone data, timelines, known associations, and surveillance footage. As the investigation progressed, police narrowed their focus to a small number of individuals who could not be eliminated. One of those individuals was Bruce McArthur, a self-employed landscaper with ties to the village and known interactions with several of the missing men, which we will also get into. A major break in the case came from surveillance video related to Andrew Kinsman's disappearance. On June 26, 2017, Kinsman was last seen near his apartment building. Surveillance cameras in the area captured footage of a red Dodge Caravan stopping near Kinsman. The footage showed Kinsman entering the vehicle, and investigators traced the van by searching for all of the red 2004 Dodge Caravans in Toronto.
I bet that was really helpful and really easy.
Naturally, this led them to thousands of people.
Yup.
So police needed a way to narrow down their options. When they searched through Kinsman's apartment, they found a note for the day that he was last seen. So I don't remember if it was a note or if it was found like in a planner or on a calendar or something like that.
Okay.
But it said, Bruce, 3 p.m.
Oh. Wait, that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep.
Kinsman's the victim.
Yep.
He
Bruce.
had Bruce, 3
McArthur.
p.m.
Yep. Okay.
So
Yep.
with this information, they were able to narrow it down to 5 people named Bruce who had this type of car.
That's still such wild statistics.
However, there was only one Bruce who was on the police list of short list of suspects.
Nice.
So they had the 5 people, but only one of them was on their list.
Right.
The vehicle was registered to Bruce McArthur. This footage was significant because it directly placed Kinsman with McArthur shortly before his disappearance, shifting McArthur from a person of interest to a primary suspect under Project Prism.
That name.
I know.
But okay, good. We have the suspect.
As police continued building their case, investigators obtained judicial authorization to covertly clone McArthur's computer. So, for whatever reason, when they found this stuff out, they didn't want to, I think they just didn't want to jump the gun.
Okay.
And so they really wanted to make sure they had all their ducks in a row. That's what I'm assuming.
I get it.
They're also, so once they figured out the car situation, that helped with like getting access to the apartment and all that kind of good stuff. This allowed police to examine its contents without alerting him, so they cloned the computer.
That's interesting.
The cloned computer contained photographs of several men, some of whom were later identified as murder victims. In some images, the men were restrained, posed, or staged. Investigators also found folders and files that suggested McArthur had cataloged or organized images of his victims. And these are images of like going camping, visiting, I'm assuming it's Niagara Falls. I could totally be wrong about that. But like obviously visiting somewhere, like taking pictures as if they're like friends or a couple or something like that.
Ew, I don't like that.
On top of the posed pictures, both alive
Right.
and post-mortem.
Okay.
And he had this weird thing about putting them in a fur coat. I don't know.
Just after they were...
Ew.
Yeah.
These discoveries provided critical evidence that connected McArthur not only to Kinsman and Essen, but to additional men who had previously been considered missing or in some cases had not been reported missing at all. So let me back up because I forgot to include this. Once they found the van, they needed to find the van.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Find the physical van.
Find the physical van.
Okay.
They ended up finding it at a scrapyard before it had gotten scrapped.
Oh, interesting.
So obviously
Already suspicious.
Yeah. Confiscated it.
Yeah.
And apparently McArthur has been to that scrapyard before.
Well, because why would you choose a new scrapyard?
Right. So possess it, go through it, and they found blood of both Kinsman and Essen in the van,
Oh.
which led to the search warrant of his apartment to clone the computer.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I was like, how'd they clone the computer with
Yeah. When they found the computer, obviously when they went into the computer and found all the files, that was when they realized, oh shit, we have more than 2 people.
Right.
So all those people that I named in the beginning were not connected to this case until men saw their pictures on the computer.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by I'm telling you in chronological order, but technically these were never connected until 2017.
Until this. Right.
Yeah, 2018.
Wow.
So they didn't know about any of the other stuff,
Right.
nor whether or not it was connected until they saw these men's photos and names.
Thank God, it's awful that he took pictures, but also, thank God he did.
Right.
So that all of these men could be identified and that they're not just missing.
Right. And keep in mind, they're still missing.
Right. But,
Yes. But it's just important for
So their bodies haven't been found.
Correct.
Or, okay.
Yes.
All right.
They have not been discovered.
Correct.
Found, retrieved, whatever.
Okay.
And by January 2018, police placed McArthur under continuous police surveillance while final warrants were prepared. On January 18th, 2018, officers entered McArthur's Toronto apartment and arrested him. So apparently, I just rewatched the video this morning and heard this tidbit. Because there's both a YouTube video and then the documentary that I watched.
Okay.
I feel like the YouTube video gives the very matter of fact, this is what happened. And the documentary, obviously, deep dive.
Right.
So they had him under surveillance. Obviously, they don't want him to hurt anybody else. And so the surveillance team had reported that they saw another man get into McArthur's car.
The red car, or he has a different car?
He has a different car now.
Okay.
And go back to his place. And so they were like, hey, he's got someone in there.
Right.
And so then that's when they decide, we have to arrest him right now. We obviously
can't wait. Right.
So when they went in there to arrest him, the man that he was brought back with him was tied up. I think he might have even been blindfolded.
Oh my God. They could not have gone in at a better time.
Right. It is basically said that had the police not shown up, he most likely would have been another victim.
Oh.
Yeah. So
thank God they were like, okay, we're just gonna go in now.
Yes. Yes. Which obviously is smart.
Yeah. Oh my God, terrifying.
Yes. Oh, I basically said all that. Okay. McArthur was initially charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Andrew Kinsman and Salim Essen. Because keep in mind, those are the only 2 that they can really confirm.
Right. They had evidence
to be dead.
Right.
More or less. But they could use a body.
Yeah.
That would be helpful. Following the arrest, investigators focused on McArthur's work as a landscaper.
Oh, no.
Police determined that his job provided access to private properties where he could dig, plant, and store materials without raising suspicion.
Oh, my God.
One key site was a residence on Mallory Crescent, where McArthur had previously... No. Not maybe that was the road name. It was called something like Leaside. It sounded like seaside, but with an L.
So Leaside.
Leaside, something like that. Suburbia outside Toronto. Nice family homes.
Manicured homes.
He made a deal with this couple that he had known for 15 years. They considered him a friend.
Okay.
He'll do their landscaping if he can store his stuff there.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, sure, of course. Anything for our friend Bruce.
Right. Oh, God.
During a search of the property, cadaver dogs alerted investigators to large planter boxes in the yard. Human remains were recovered from multiple planters.
Oh, how terrifying for the families, too.
They still live there.
Yeah.
The couple didn't move.
I don't know I don't know what I would have done in that situation.
From the way she described it when she was interviewed for the documentary was that not letting him take away their home.
I get that.
And they had a bunch of other reasons why they wanted to stay, even though it is still difficult for them.
Right.
Because police just came and was like, hey, you got to get out of your house.
My God.
Which I'm sure was terrifying.
Yeah. I know whenever Joe and I buy a house, if something happened, okay, you have to leave, we'd be like, we literally don't have the money to do that.
Right. Right. They probably wouldn't stay with a friend or something.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, Mackenzie, we're coming to chill.
absolutely. But yeah, so the way she explained it, like, I myself might not do that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And, like, she played for the guy, like, voicemails that he left, and he sounds so normal.
Yeah.
He sounds like a very nice, normal guy.
Which is why, hey, can I store my stuff? Absolutely, no
They
problem.
knew him for 15 years.
Right.
They were like, "Did we really know him?"
Yeah, apparently
You
not.
know, it's like, the person that we knew doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, they found remains in
Ugh.
pretty much almost all the planters,
Oh my God.
which is also how they figured out the 2 men that hadn't been reported missing. They
Oh.
discovered who they were because they found their remains
Mm,
in the planters.
right.
Like, the one of them, Kumar, his picture was, like, put up, like, a restoration / like, when he, is deceased,
Mhm.
was put up of, like, "Do you know this person?" And that's when, like, his family was like, "Hey, like,
Ugh.
that's our whoever he was."
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's why, like, to me, those connections are crazy. Like, one, you didn't know about pretty much more than half the victims
Yeah.
until you found this man,
Right.
and the evidence showed otherwise. And two, now not only that, but you've discovered this was when they discovered the 8th victim.
Mm.
So they
Mhm.
knew about 2.
Right.
They ended up
Finding the
finding
others.
5, 6 more.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then found the 7th.
Right.
I mean, the 8th.
Jeez.
So that's why I said initially he was charged
With
with
2.
2. The identification process required extensive forensic analysis, including DNA testing and comparisons with missing person records. Some victims had been reported missing years earlier. At least 2 victims had not been reported missing at all, meaning investigators identified them only through forensic evidence rather than an active missing person case.
Which is so sad.
It is. As victims were identified, police laid additional first-degree murder charges. So, like, every time they were, like, confirmed that remains belonged to somebody, especially if it matched the picture,
Mhm.
he was charged with another count of murder.
Nice.
So, in total, Bruce McArthur was charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder.
Jeez.
In January 19th, McArthur pled guilty to all 8 counts, officially confirming the number of known victims.
Number of known victims.
They're pretty sure that,
This
like,
is it?
this is it. I don't think he's ever officially, like, said one way or another, because there was a family on the documentary that, like, they have one of their sons is missing who was also gay,
Mhm.
and could he have possibly have been another victim
Right.
kind of thing. But as far as they know, they have no evidence to support that.
Right.
So who is Bruce McArthur? Bruce McArthur was born in 1951 in rural Ontario and lived much of his adult life presenting himself as unremarkable, quiet, socially awkward, and largely invisible. He knew that he was gay from, like, a very early age, but given the religious upbringing, did not,
Yep.
come out or anything like that. He married a woman in the 1970s, and they had 2 children, but they did later divorce. But they stayed, kind of like your parents. They stayed in the same house and, like, raised the kids.
Right.
And he actually came out to the first person he came out to was his wife.
Oh.
But he was like 40 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. It always starts off innocent, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's so, like, innocent, like, telling the white, like, that's
And I
sweet.
still don't quite understand what made him snap.
Okay.
Like, I don't think enough has been investigated on him personally.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's still relatively new if he was convicted in 2019.
Right.
So that part is never really, like, who his first victim is, but you don't know why he's the first one. Like,
I
what
mean,
made him snap?
I recently, like, literally today was listening to a podcast where they covered a case about this guy who, like, he was out to his friends, but he wasn't necessarily out to his family, and someone not trapped him, but, like, wanted to go on a date with him in the purpose to kill him. So it was
Yeah.
talking a lot about, like, I don't know how to explain it, but, like, kind of like this, how the mindset.
Mhm.
And so they were saying, like, maybe he was mad that he's seen these other people who are openly gay and happy and having great families and being very supportive, and he doesn't have that. So it could be that he's jealous of that, or he's, like, taking out his anger of how he was closeted for so long and then finally came out. Like,
Mhm.
like something like that, where he's seeing other people who are not some of the newer ones, but at least the 2 that, like, he was like, charged with first.
Mhm.
That one guy was openly gay. He was loved by a ton of people. He was, like, seen as
Versus the other ones were not.
right. So it could be, at least with him, that could be one of the reasons. Because he didn't have, like, that growing up where he could be who he was.
Also part of the reason he did that is because he didn't think they would be missed.
Yeah, that too.
So, or connect to him, because if they're not out, then why would they think a gay man did anything?
Right.
So, I agree. And I know there was, like, other stuff with, like, a relationship or something. I don't know. It's hard to say,
Yeah.
but, like, you can kinda see the gradual progression.
Mhm.
So, let me just continue.
Okay.
By the 1990s, MacArthur was living a largely double life. Publicly, a mild-mannered landscaper who worked in Toronto's affluent neighborhoods. Privately, a man who frequented the city's gay village and sought relationships with men, many of whom were vulnerable, isolated, or newcomers to Canada.
Right.
For decades, MacArthur was never seriously suspected as a serial killer because he blended into the background. I mean, he was frickin' Santa, for God's sakes.
Right.
He did not fit popular profiles of violent offenders, had no criminal record involving homicide, and committed his crimes slowly and discreetly over many years.
And he had no other criminal record?
No,
Wow.
but
Okay.
there's a but
Yeah.
in a moment. His victims, many of whom were middle-aged men from the LGBTQIA+ community. I stumbled on that one.
You did. I think you, like, second-guessed yourself.
I did, because it's not written in here.
Oh, okay.
That's
Mhm.
why. Including immigrants and men with limited social ties, were initially treated as missing persons rather than homicide victims, delaying the recognition of a pattern. So there were some warning signs.
Okay.
Okay. MacArthur did come to police's attention multiple times,
Mm,
but none resulted in sustained surveillance or anything like that. So in
right.
2013, he was charged after a man reported being strangled during a sexual encounter. Like, he beat this man.
Oh.
The case collapsed when, like, during trial, I think it was, MacArthur told this sob story of, like, "I don't remember doing it. I blacked out. It was because of this kind of medication or
Mhm.
that kind of medication," really playing on the heartstrings.
Right.
And the judge fell for it
Mhm.
and gave him, like, I think it was probation, and he couldn't go to the village and, like, essentially be with gay men alone or something like that,
Interesting.
or, like,
Okay.
go to these bars that they frequented, which he still did.
Well, yeah.
So he never, like, even though he was charged, h it he didn't serve any jail time.
Mhm.
It was all, like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So there's that.
Right.
Um, there was a couple of men who shared, like, their almosts.
Oh, those are so scary.
There was one man who remembered, like, him saying, like, asking weird questions, like, "Does anyone know you're here?" You know, "Do you have family here?" Like, things like that, like, very clearly retrospectively, like, "Oh, you're trying to figure it out. If you can kill me and no one will miss me, and so it'll be harder for it to be connected to you."
Creepy.
Yeah. So 2016, 2017 missing persons, MacArthur was questioned during investigations connected to the Toronto's gay village, including Andrew Kinsman, because, like, he would, like I said, MacArthur was known in this community. He was not a stranger. People knew
Right.
who he was. They recognized him. They could tie him to, "I saw him at this bar with this person," especially Andrew Kinsman, who's also well known,
Right.
so that he can tie those two together,
Right.
or a witness can. He was briefly considered but ultimately dismissed due to lack of discrete evidence and competing theories. And again, in the interview, the way that the policemen treat him is like wrong place, wrong time.
Mm,
Like,
yeah.
very, of course you didn't do it.
Right.
Freaking Santa Claus.
Right. Santa wouldn't do that.
Witnesses and acquaintance later described MacArthur as controlling, sexually coercive, and fixated on domination. But these red flags were not formally connected across cases at that time. So he was super into the BDSM scene. Totally fine.
Right.
He preferred to be the dominant one.
Totally
Also
fine.
totally fine. I think that's where his slippery slope started to come in.
Mm,
He used, like, some sort of bar with, I think it had rope on it. to strangle all of them.
Oh, like a garrote?
No, because the way it's described, it's almost like the bar, if he moves it a certain way, makes it tighter.
Oh,
I don't know. I
okay.
can't remember exactly what it was. But the documentary also revealed that his first victim, he was supposedly in like a 10-year relationship with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
like one of the guys who
Like the very
came.
first victim. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And pretty much all of them he was romantically connected to one
Wow.
way or another, which is why part of those pictures weren't just pictures of them in his bedroom. It was
Right.
them doing things
Like
together.
being a couple.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So MacArthur was romantically and sexually involved with several of his victims. He met many through dating apps, bars, or within the gay village, often presenting himself as a potential partner or friend.
Wow.
These relationships gave him trust and access, allowing him to lure men back to his apartment or to properties where he worked.
And especially if like you're with someone for a couple months, your trust is fully in them. So if they're like, "Oh, let's try this one thing," you're like, "All right."
And a couple of them worked for him with the landscaping stuff too.
Ew.
The intimacy made disappearances appear voluntary at first and reduced immediate suspicion of foul play. Ultimately, MacArthur's arrest in 2018 followed intensive surveillance, digital forensics, and his being caught with a victim in his apartment, revealing that the warning signs had existed for years but were never fully connected.
Mm-hmm.
His case is now widely cited as an example of how systematic blind spots, victim marginalization, and assumptions about who looks like a serial killer can allow extreme violence to go undetected for decades.
I mean, another person that falls into that too, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Uh-huh.
You know?
John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
There's lots of them.
Yeah.
In conclusion, while justice for these victims was ultimately received, it shed light on the fact that we still have a long way to go with protecting and serving marginalized communities. Many argue that had the police properly investigated MacArthur earlier, he wouldn't have been able to kill 8 people.
Right.
This story shows us that we still have a lot to fight for, but we also have progress that we can celebrate. And that is the Santa serial killer,
Wow.
right?
Not related to Christmas much, but I see how you got the connection.
Well, one person disappeared around Christmas.
Right. Yeah. I did hear that one a couple days after Christmas.
Yeah, and he's called
The Santa Claus Killer.
He's called the Santa Claus serial killer.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So I figured,
Yeah.
that's why I said it's themed.
Yeah. You were in the theme. And I mean, I think I think it was an important one to cover too.
Right. Like most of these men were immigrants. And what was very interesting to me, and you saw this in the documentary too, the guy who's interviewing family, friends, things like that of the victims, like even now, knowing the connection, knowing who did it and all that kind of good stuff, they still are like, no, he's not gay. I know him. He's not. Yeah.
Mm. Look at everything.
Which is like you said, though, it's the culture.
Yeah.
You know,
it is.
it's the culture. It's most definitely their religion.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I think that's why it's like there is progress. Like this is the
Yeah.
2010s, but it's also a reminder that there are still people,
Mm-hmm.
people of color, people not of color, who are in families that are not accepting of it.
Yeah.
You know, and if even after death, you can imagine that while he was alive, if that's how he most definitely did not think he could
No, absolutely
come
not.
out safely.
Absolutely not.
And I think it's very justifiable that people fight with losing their family
Yeah.
or even losing this sense of what they have learned is right and wrong,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
You don't really hear about immigrants these days disappearing like that.
I was gonna
Here.
say.
I feel like maybe in other cities, but like, I don't know. I just feel like we don't hear a lot about that kind of transient community.
No, we don't.
You know, like it might be a person of color who is marginalized already, but in terms of like specifically, they were all immigrants of some kind.
Yeah.
Except for like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Like it seems very purposeful. It's like, you know how
It does seem purposeful because
like
it's
they
kind of like
target those people.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
almost feel like as we get more into technology and advances and things like that, it's harder to commit crimes, which
Yeah.
is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think about all the things that people could get away with back in the day just because they didn't have the resources to really look into it.
Mhm.
And so I feel like criminals are almost like adapting,
Yeah.
like changing their victims to really be a group of people that no one even thought of.
Mhm.
Like obviously, yes, there's still people with high risk jobs and things like that are still marginalized, definitely not negating that. But I have to wonder if, since he seemed so curious about whether or not, people knew them, if they had family, it seems like he's very purposeful.
Yeah.
And so,
And I mean, if he's like dating them too, to start off, he's finding all this information out,
right, right. So, yeah, at least this one's solved.
Yeah.
Apparently, he got life in prison with the possibility of parole at 25 years,
Mm.
which, like, a lot of people were like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But I guess he's also going to be like 90
But still,
when he's eligible for
I
parole.
wouldn't want him to be out in the streets anyways.
He probably won't be because he'll probably die way before 90.
Hopefully.
I feel like the average age in prison is like 60 or 70,
Yeah.
something like that. So,
Well,
and he really does look like Santa Claus.
you'll have to show me.
Like, he looks like a wholesome grandpa.
Yeah.
He had a good relationship with his kids. He had a good relationship with his ex-wife.
Oh my goodness.
Like, and I know we say it all the time, but it's also like when someone comes across as a trustworthy person
Mm-hmm.
who has no background of doing anything wrong, it's not far-fetched that we're going to continue to believe that that person is a good person
Right,
until
no.
we see otherwise.
Absolutely.
Do we then make unfair assumptions of people who maybe have done wrong in their life and they're not trying to do wrong again? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But it's to just say it's like we have to broaden our horizons of who could possibly be responsible. Yes, but also
Yeah.
you can't investigate something that you don't have evidence for.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So, there was one cop who said from the jump that it was a serial killer, but no one believed her.
Of course not,
So,
because she's a female.
yeah.
Well,
There's
nice.
like so many other like little tidbits.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Very nice job.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. It's so long. And I was thinking, when did you get the time to do all this research?
I did. Telling you the video and the documentary were like so helpful. I watched the video Friday and then Saturday and then read some more articles. I had already read the Wikipedia page, so I had some like background.
Yeah.
And then I finally found the documentary. And it was like, it wasn't one of those things on Prime you had to rent. Like if you have Prime, you can watch it.
Oh, nice.
And so he really went like in depth. So I already kind of had like knowledge of it. And then I watched that like all yesterday.
Wow.
So I knew a lot of that stuff.
Well, nicely done.
And ChatGPT 100% helped.
Yeah.
Like, but I had to be very specific. I was like, please write a paragraph about this that includes this detail, this detail, this detail, and this detail.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes if I just ask it generically, it like either includes things that didn't happen or is very generic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Well, nicely done.
Do you have Amazon Prime?
Mhm.
You should watch it.
Yeah, I should.
It's very, very well done.
Okay.
It's very well done.
I mean, soon enough, I'm going to need recommendations for all the things to watch.
There's so many crime documentaries that I really want you to watch that I know you haven't been able to because, watch it with Joseph.
I know.
So,
Ugh, Joseph.
exposing him young. This is what mommy's into.
Well, he's already been hearing all of the stories.
Yes, he has.
Every single one.
Yes. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, nicely done.
Nicely done for you as well.
Oh, thank you.
See, like I said, a lot of parallels.
Yeah, a lot of parallels.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
We tend to do that.
we do.
Yeah. So
Well, rate and review us. This comes out right before Christmas.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, so we hope everyone has a great Christmas.
Yes.
If you celebrate. Great holidays for whatever you celebrate.
If not, happy Thursday.
Yeah, if not, happy Thursday. Wait, it comes out on Wednesday.
Christmas is on
Oh,
Thursday.
for you meaning like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Instead of Merry Christmas, just Happy Thursday.
Yeah, happy Thursday.
Hopefully you get it off.
Yes.
If not, then thank you for working.
Yeah, that too, seriously.
So I think that's all we have.
And to my fellow Jews, I hope you enjoy your Chinese food.
Yeah. Joe and I did Chinese food on Christmas Eve. Yeah.
It's because of me. The Jewishness has seeped into you.
It's rubbing off on us.
Just being friends with me for so many years.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That's what it is.
All right, so stay scary.
Stay safe.